Hey, David Brewster here with a new episode of 3 for All. This is 3 Jeff Beck Licks from 1975, and I've had some requests to feature more of the legendary late great Jeff Beck, my all-time favorite guitarist, and I've admitted that numerous times here on this channel. And definitely I'm putting this together, for the requests that came in, but I'm also putting this together for me. I've been thinking about Jeff and listening to his music recently. I found this footage from 75 and it knocked my socks off, and I thought, yeah, we're gonna hit this. And definitely 1975 is the year of the oxblood Les Paul. It's one of my favorite eras of Beck's career. I actually love a lot of eras, from Beck's career. But the Les Paul era is noticeably different. He was still using the pick. He didn't have a bar. He wasn't playing the Strat. So his playing was different. The phrasing and licks and everything. That little window of time, like 74 to 76-ish. It's very interesting to notice what was different in Jeff Beck's playing style, and that's what this episode's going to hit. So here we go. So 1975 was a historic and really big year for Jeff Beck. You got to think he released the, absolutely essential album Blow by Blow that year. He also worked with the group Up and also appears on Stanley Clarke's Journey to Love album. So definitely 75 was a busy and very productive year for Mr. Jeff Beck. And there's really no argument. These two albums changed the electric guitar forever. Blow by Blow and Wired, 75 and 76. And here they are on CD. But these two albums, like their importance in music and their importance in my musical world, definitely I'm happy to have these on CD, but they just don't really seem big enough to represent, how important these albums actually are. So here they are again on vinyl, and once again, they're bigger than the CD, but they're still not really representative of how important these, albums are to me and to millions of music fans all over the world. So I wish there was some way to really show, the importance of these two historic albums. Yeah, here we go. This is actually the right size to show the importance of these two historic and essential albums. So if you haven't heard Blow by Blow and Wired, that's your requirement. I'm requiring you to listen to these two albums. You have to. If you're an electric guitarist or a rock fan, or if you think you're a Jeff Beck fan and you haven't heard these two albums, that's your homework. Listen to Blow by Blow, listen to Wired, and that's your assignment. So the licks in this episode came from a TV appearance on the Midnight Special from 1975, and this was Billy Preston's, appearance on the show. Billy Preston with Buddy Rich and Jeff Beck. And they're just completely rocking and funking out. I mean, it was a great performance. Definitely Billy Preston, I think most people consider him the sixth Beatle because, George Martin was the fifth Beatle. Billy Preston's the sixth Beatle. I'm not really sure how many Beatles were in the Beatles, but Billy Preston's definitely one of them. But anyway, the licks in here are some signature, definitely mid-70s, classic Jeff Beck ideas. So here we go. All right, the first lick's definitely a signature Jeff Beck lick from the 70s. He's doing that really extreme bending, like this. One more time. This is a tough, deceptively tough lick. We're in G minor, and we're basically starting with this unison bend right there. And then come down the box, like that. And then right here is the crazy bend. So he's basically grabbing this B flat, and then he's grabbing this G note on the D string, and then he bends that G up a step and a half to B flat. So he's fretting and hitting, the fretted note, and then he's bending that G to match that fretted note. That's a crazy D string bend. Like that. It's a tough lick. And you may actually need to reach over and reinforce that bend. I think you can actually see Jeff doing this in the footage. Because you definitely have to pull to match that B flat. So definitely the trick there is getting that bend on the D string to match that fretted B flat. That's a big wound string bend, a step and a half. Definitely, it's actually a lot further than you might think initially, because it's right there. For that bend, it's almost more like a country bend, because it's going right to the note. It's not really the gradual kind of blues bend where it drifts up toward the note. It's like he's going right for that B flat. That's tough. Definitely it's going to chew up your fingertips big time. Right, the next lick actually exaggerates that bend, so you can really sharpen it up like this. One more time. And once again, we're doing that same 1.5 bend, so you very well could break your D string, so be careful out there. But he's basically hitting that fretted B flat and then does a bend and release on that G up to B flat, back to G, like that. So he does it like 4 times in a row, kind of, spaced a little bit. And then he does it twice, kind of back to back. And at the end, just grab that B flat and end on that G note with vibrato, like that. Okay, next up's this phrase, and every time it comes around, Jeff is varying the end of it slightly. We're still, hitting the same song, the same key in G minor, but it's like this. One more time. So we're still in G out of the box right there. Grabs a double stop there on the 15th fret. And that's the first little variation. So you're basically moving between that G and F note after that double stop. And the second time it's... So that double stop, you're still playing with that G and F. And then right there you're going to grab, this D note and slide down to that C. Down to that C, grab that B flat, end on that G, and then start the lick again. So the first two are... Then the third one is... And you're just basically moving from that C to B flat, and then the last time... Right there, you're just kind of moving between that G and F again. So all the way through it. Okay, here's a bonus lick from this footage, and this was during their performance of Them Changes, from Buddy Miles. And Jeff started doing this kind of fake slide emulation lick like this. One more time. This is really crafty. Now we're in E. And he's basically, he's sliding from nowhere into this A note. And then right there, he's basically targeting and grabbing G sharp on the G string, right? So it's a half step away, but you're hearing that blurry slide into that A, and then a fretted G sharp, and then you want to basically do that blurry slide 5 times in a row, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And it's a quick little position shift slide there. And then this B to G, and kind of smear that G, and then come down like E minor pentatonic here. So all the way through it, kind of slow. And then at tempo. Cool lick, and I love when Jeff would kind of do the fake slide stuff, either with the bar or with his fingers. Alright, that's going to wrap this episode of 3 for All with this look at 3 Jeff Beck licks from 1975. Definitely right now, currently, I'm sorely missing Jeff Beck, and I've been listening to his music like I mentioned earlier. I've been doing a little bit of reading and kind of going through some old guitar players and books and stuff, and just really trying to remember and really soak up, some of that brilliant music from Mr. Jeff Beck. Sorely missed in today's world. I think a lot of people are still kind of, shocked when it's going to be 2 years since he passed in January. I'm not sure where the time went, but definitely I'm spending a lot of time currently thinking about Jeff Beck, listening to his music, playing it, checking out performance footage and stuff like this, which was, brilliant, and just really missing, the legendary guitarist, Jeff Beck. So anyway, leave some feedback and comments. Please subscribe to Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know it with more content and material. Thank you.